Good morning. It's 6 a.m. and I am waiting for the coffee shop to open. I get a lot of questions about how to build self-esteem, working with clients, and I want to really try to simplify this. Now, everyone has a different story, and there's a different way into doing that depending on your story. But the first thing is to create the soil, create the space. I talk a lot about containers, and if you are in a life space, what I call container, where people are assassinating your character and punching you in the face, if you are in a life space where you are in a job that forces you to do things that you don't like about yourself, I don't know, whatever that is, right? Maybe it goes against your values or your inherent character, whatever, right? If you are in a space where your story is not championed, if you are in a space where you are bullied, any of those things, then there is no soil to even create self-worth. So it's almost like trying to grow a plant in shit. Well, no, it's not like that, because shit is fertilizer and that helps plants grow. It's like trying to grow a plant in sand, right? Like you have this plant and it's in the sand and you're watering it, it's getting sun, and you're wondering why it's not growing. You have to create rich soil for you to start building self-esteem. So that's number one. If your space around you, whether we're talking about work or friends or especially a partnership, your intimate partner, because that's who we spend the most time with, if that space, if there's cracks in that container, it's going to be really hard to build self-esteem, right? Imagine that there's a hole in your self-esteem balloon, right? And it's always going to be leaking. Just to really simplify, I think after that, after having soil, you have to give yourself experiences where you actually like yourself. Now, there's a difference between loving yourself and liking yourself. I think it's harder to like yourself, right? Love is a choice, and we can practice loving ourselves by making that choice and by practicing self-compassion and mantras and all of that. But to actually like yourself is not a choice, you know? Think about when you like someone else, right? Is that a choice? No. Liking someone has to come organically. Those spaces have to be created where you're like, oh, I really like this person. I'm flowing with this person, or I respect this person. So let's just first talk about you liking someone else. And I'm not talking about romantically, it can be, but I'm just talking about just generally. What does it take for you to like someone? You have to respect that person, right? If you don't respect someone, it's impossible to like that person. You might like parts of them, like you might admire their humor or, you know, maybe what they've built, you know, stuff like that. But to like the person, you have to respect them, right? You have to admire them. What else? What makes you like someone? Because whatever makes you like someone are going to be the things that make you like yourself. Does that make sense? And I know it's a little bit different. Like you might like someone because they're hilarious, and that doesn't mean that you have to have the gift of humor to like yourself. But generally speaking, what draws you to someone else and what makes you like them, the broad strokes, are things that you're going to have to build yourself. So starting with respect, if you're doing shit that you cannot respect, if you are, I don't know, depending on your values, stealing or manipulating or hurting people, kicking animals, I don't know. But if you're doing stuff where you don't respect that, right, you're not going to build your self-esteem. You're not going to build self-worth. So creating spaces and experiences where you're actually liking yourself. Now, part of that can be accomplishments, you know, and the thing is that most people put a lot of weight on accomplishments. So if it's only accomplishments, like you building your empire, or, you know, getting the corner office, or, you know, the girl, the guy, whatever, or the car, if those accomplishments are all you're doing to like yourself, then there's a chance you're doing that because you don't like yourself. Does that make sense? There's a chance that you're using accomplishments as a way to build self-worth that's more of an external self-worth than an internal self-worth. So to build internal self-worth, yes, accomplishments can be one of them, but you just have to be aware of the meaning of that and why. You have to be doing things more character-based, right? I shared a story, and this is just really simple, and it's just the one that comes to the top of my head. I was actually here at this coffee shop, which I'm about to go into. I come here every morning, right when they open at 6:30, and I was in the bathroom, and I realized they had an air freshener. It was the same air freshener that we just got at home, but the one that we got, even though it's brand new, it didn't work as well. Like, it's one of those air fresheners where you put the oil in and you plug it into the wall. They have the exact same one here, Blue Bottle, and theirs is just like pumping out amazing aroma oils, and I was like, wow, it smells amazing. The one that we have at home is just like drooling. And so I initially thought, oh, I'm just going to take the one at home and swap it with theirs, right? Not a big deal. But then I asked myself, would I like myself? Now, it's not going to, like, completely chop me at the knees, and I'm not going to have it's not going to ruin my day, but it's just a little thing that adds to character, and technically it's stealing, and I don't want to steal. I don't want to lie. I don't want to, do those things that I have to live with where then I don't like myself. So I didn't do it. And you know what? The old John would. And the old John had a lot less self-esteem and self-worth. So little things like that, I think, go a long way. So throughout the day, whether it's the way you treat someone, whether being the bigger person, or in my case, not stealing the coffee shop's air freshener, being honest with people, and how like standing up for yourself, right? Anything that you are doing that makes you like you is going to build your worth. And yes, that can also be accomplishments too, right? But it can't just be accomplishments. So think about internally what you need to do today that's going to make you like yourself, be proud of yourself. Maybe it's to go home from work early because you are really bad at self-care. Maybe it is to actually apologize for the first time. Maybe it's to take some ownership. Maybe it's to not make it about you. Maybe it's to do something nice. Maybe it's to be of service. I don't know. But the things that you see in other people that you really admire, and you're like, fuck, I like that about that person. Maybe it's just you just speak your truth, Like, who doesn't respect that, right? So if you want to build self-worth, and I say you have to build it because it's a daily practice, start with little things and start doing things where you actually say, you know what, I like that about me. Because I'll tell you what, no one can take that away, and you can give that to yourself, and it's not contingent on anyone else.